My question about my inner being would be, and I desperately hope that you can perceive my question without me having to describe it too much, which I'm sure you can.
That desperation will be hard for us to make our way through. Can you lighten up a little bit? Can you give it a rest?
Can I give what a rest? The desperation? Okay. My question is about, I'm very satisfied with my inner being and my relationship with it. In many ways, it seems of a similar nature to what Esther, Abraham experienced, although maybe it's totally different.
It's similar, and the more you are allowing it to continue to expand, the more like it is. Your relationship with your inner being is just a budding relationship. You're just getting to know one another. Esther hasn't even begun to allow us to assist her in the ways that are possible, because she's still hung up on her humanness to a certain extent, and so are you.
Why is my inner being seemingly, most people talk about, flowers and roses and beautiful things. My inner being seems to be very...
Don't let others define what's nice for you. Don't let others and their words that may be aligned words or not, don't let them dictate to you what is wanted by you. Let your emotions guide you.
So the inner being that I'm speaking of, which I'm sure that you perceive on, that is my inner being, because it seems very, it's magical, it's powerful, but it's extremely, I'll lay it out there. It takes the form of a dragon very often. It's very powerful, very vicious, but beautiful.
You translate it that way because of its power. Everything is coming through your interpretation. So the block of thought that you are receiving, because there are very few humans who are physically around you, who are connecting with this energy and allowing it to flow. And so your mind had to make it something really unusual. And so you used all of those elements of power and speed and force and stamina and intensity and all of that. You see what we're getting at?
Mm-hmm.
It's your translation. It's your way of describing.
So that energy is still my inner being then.
And it's pure positive energy.
Okay. There's no, in everything, I mean, I've experienced it a long, long time, and it has never showed me anything aside from its divineness. It just takes a very strong form.
Again, we'll reflect that back to you. It's your way of saying my inner being is more powerful than anything I've witnessed in physical form. And we say, of course it is. Everyone's got that dragon within them, that eagerness to go, and that it's the power of it, it's the strength of it, it's the longevity of it, it's the eternalness of it. Yeah.
The last question would be it's all related though. You talk very often about the movements that through the body, from, I guess you know what I'm talking about. Whenever this energy comes through me and I can summon it at will, I don't have to wait for meditation and stuff, but in meditation it happens. The body movements in mind can be extremely, they can be subtle, but they can be extremely dynamic. They come to me when I need them.
When you allow them.
What is the purpose of those movements? What is your definition of what those are for? Because I know a lot of people here experience those.
The most important thing to know about them is that it is evidence that you are out of the way and allowing the impulse to be received. It's the same conversation that we had earlier when there was confusion about the difference between a thought and an impulse. We're always deliberate in the way we offer these blocks of thought to Esther, so that she can find words that will not mislead you in this sense. We never want you to feel like you are puppets on a string. We never want you to feel like you are just opening up and letting go and letting something else live through you. That's why we enjoyed so much this conversation about who's leading, who's doing the leading. In other words, you are. In your physical form, you are the one out here on the leading edge, asking the leading edge questions and finding the leading edge desires and doing the summoning from the resources of all that is, not all that has been, all that is. And so as you allow yourself to acknowledge that your contrast, your newness has caused the desire within you, and that desire within you has done the summoning, and now you're completing the equation, you're balancing your energy, not only by having the desire that is attractive in nature, that is causing law of attraction to respond, but now you are monitoring and contouring your beliefs, your thoughts, you're giving it a rest, you're letting things go, you're quieting your mind through meditation. In other words, you're learning through your emotional center to balance this energy within you. And as you do that, then you unite with your inner being, and together we go into this place that is new. It's like you reuniting with your soul and doing it deliberately. And until you do, your inner being will not create your reality without your participation. Your inner being will not make you a puppet and cause you to live a life that your own personal, in this now moment intentionality is not a part of. You see what we're getting at? This is your life, and you get to choose it with all of the support of all of the energy that creates worlds with you. That's some big dragon, isn't it? In the sense that there's big time power within that, you see. Being a creator is a wonderful thing. Being a deliberate creator is the only way that you're ever happy in the process of it. And not being deliberate, you can't stand that. You don't like the limpness of just sitting around and observing and not defining anything or making a decision about anything. Isn't it so much better for you when life helps you to decide, even if you're not capable yet of being true to your own decision? Doesn't it feel good to make a decision? And don't you really like it when that decision is something that you own? And don't you like it even more when the decision that you made, that you've practiced owning, now is reflecting outwardly into your life with evidence? Yeah. Creation is fun, and creators must create, and you are creators who must create. Nothing less than that will do, you see. You just can't phone it in. You can't. You're here. The fact that you are here is evidence of who you are. And now, if you are to be happy, you've got to exercise your ability to direct your thoughts. And when you do, feelings of well-being come over you, feelings of satisfaction, feelings of clarity, feelings of right place, right time. You get in sync with the universe. Everything works for you. A sort of magic surrounds you.
Is it possible for me to achieve a verbal connection with my inner being? Because up to this point, that has not been my type of.
Of course.
Just ask for it and expect it.
That's the answer to everything, isn't it?
Have you got any advice for me personally about how to expedite my process here?
Well, we're not going to say to you to give it a rest, because you're enough in balance. In other words, everything that we said to you, you received it as we said it, and that's really a nice thing. That's one of the most satisfying conversations, is when you identify something that you're not quite in alignment with, and then we chew together and the alignment sort of happens as we're having the conversation. And so we're just encourage you to just continue on as you are. Be easy about it, and maybe a little less determined. You know that feeling of eagerness that you feel as you are approaching the top of the cliff or the peak of a mountain, and you know it's going to be a good view. You know it is. But every time there's an eagerness that comes over you as you find that newness. It's that feeling that you want to encourage. That's the feeling that we want all of you to feel. Some of the peaks, by comparison with other people, they're small peaks. But when it's a new one for you, your inner being celebrates as if it were the highest peak that anyone had ever achieved at any time, you see. Because everything that you are living is new unto this universe. And so when you allow yourself to have a new experience, and you feel that feeling of passion or exhilaration that you often feel, that's your inner being experiencing this newness with you. And newness with you is new unto the universe. It doesn't matter how many other people have had a new experience. Newness with you is new unto the universe. It matters. It matters to all that is, and therefore it should matter to you too. Yeah. Enough?
Hi. So I want to talk about turning thoughts to things. I had this pretty woo-woo experience where We created a desire, and then we energized it by blessing it, sending love to it. And then we sent it off. And then our teacher told us to put out our left hand and think of that desire. And I felt like a bowling ball hit my hand. And it kind of freaked me out just a little.
So start at the beginning of this.
Okay.
At this efforting.
So, yeah, that's actually what I wanted to ask. I felt like, so we were thinking of a desire.
So I've decided that I'm going to be a deliberate creator. And I am going to define a desire, a really good one. It'll take me a minute, and then I'm going to flow energy toward it.
It actually was kind of fun. I felt like a wizard in a way.
We are being playful about it, but there is a little too much work involved here.
Yeah.
Because remember, and we will let you talk, but remember, the way it all works is step one is born effortlessly out of contrast. You know what you don't want, you know what you do want. And once you launch that rocket, your inner being tends it, law of attraction grows it, momentum gathers it, the cooperative components are gathered, and so there's not a lot of effort in that. So what you might have meant to say is, I've decided to select from among what I know is in my vortex, what's already gathered. I'm going to identify some desire that I hold for the purpose of making sure that I'm tuned to it, because I want to witness what the deliberate tuning of something that's already been done in step one. I'm going to do the receiving mode thing about something that I already know is in the vortex, and I'm going to witness its evolution. Those are the words we would use.
I like those words.
Yes.
Those feel real good. And so turning thoughts to things as you described it sounds...
Or let's say it better. Witnessing thoughts turning to things.
There you go.
Because turning thoughts to things sounds like I'm the motor in the car. I'm going to witness thoughts turning to things. Thoughts turn to things. And if I'm focused upon the thoughts as they turn to things, then I get to enjoy the turning process. Feeling the difference in these?
Yeah, that's the satisfaction of getting ready to be ready.
The bowling ball is getting lighter.
Yeah. And so, well, what was interesting is that the bowling ball, it felt like it took on, I guess it's just so I think about vibration, I think about fast moving energy. And so when
You think about what?
When I think of vibration, I think about energy moving at different frequencies. And so when I'm thinking of a desire and it feels good, there's this feeling that it's fast moving energy. And so when I felt the bowling ball, that kind of surprised me, the weight of it. Was it just my imagination, or that's what I want to know, because there was this explanation that when we're turning thoughts to thought forms, is actually what he described it as, is that where it's like taking steam and turning it into ice. So that, I was very curious about that. Is it
what this sounds like to us is human beings who've decided to take on the role of non-physical and then complain about their inability to do something that they're not supposed to be doing.
That's perfect. Yeah, I got you. That helped clear that up. Thank you so much.
Now, that doesn't mean it's not a good idea to focus. Of course, you want to focus and you want to find the lightness and the good feeling in the thoughts that you're thinking. Of course, you are the catalyst that is allowing yourself to be receiving. But it's time to really emphasize that thoughts are going to turn to things with or without you, because it's the way life works. And that what this work is about accomplishing a vibrational frequency that, since law of attraction is the order of the day, that as I accomplish a frequency, I allow the kinds of things to be witnessed and experienced by me that I prefer. Because you get what you think about, whether you want it or not. Thoughts are turning to things all around you all the time. But this exercise sort of implies that if you're not really focused, then you're not turning thoughts to things. And that isn't true at all. Thoughts are turning to things and you're witnessing them. The question is, what are you witnessing? And the answer is, depends on how you feel while you got your focus on it. Yes. Helpful?
That's so helpful. Thank you.